All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling something huge, something really powerful, and it all boils down to just four little words. Truth knows no color. Think about that for a second. It's this beautiful idea, right? That truth is pure, it's impartial, it exists way beyond all the things that divide us race, beliefs, where we're from. It's this ideal of a totally objective reality. But hang on, is it really that simple? I mean, look around. We live in a world that's anything but simple. Everything we see is filtered through our own unique perspectives, our biases, our beliefs. So that's what we're going to dig into today, this constant tug of war between the pure, simple ideal of truth and the messy, colorful reality of how we actually experience it. So let's start with that ideal. This whole concept of an uncolored truth, where did it even come from? Okay, so the first thing you got to understand is the difference between objective and subjective truth. Objective truth? That's stuff like 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's a fact whether you, me, or anyone else believes it or not. It just is. But subjective truth, that's all about personal perspective. This weather's great. You might think it is, I might not. That saying, truth knows no color, well, it's really rooting for team objective. And this isn't some new idea. People have been chasing this for ages. Go way back to Plato. He thought truth was this perfect, unchanging thing, almost like a geometric shape in the sky. Fast forward a few centuries to Immanuel Kant. He argued that moral truth is a universal law, something based on pure reason that applies to every single person, no matter their situation. I mean, that's pretty much the peak of this uncolored ideal, right? But, life isn't a philosophy textbook. We don't walk around as beings of pure, abstract reason. We're human. And that brings us to the messy part, how all of our human stuff starts to, filter the truth. And this is where things get really interesting, because you see this huge clash in philosophy. On one side, you have Kant's ideal of a single, objective truth we can all get to through reason. But then you get someone like Friedrich Nietzsche, and he just throws a wrench in the whole thing. He basically said there's no such thing as a view from nowhere. Every single thing we think we know is just an interpretation, colored by our own power, our own needs, our own unique point of view. This chart breaks it down perfectly. You've got these different theories of what truth even is. The correspondence theory, that truth is what matches reality, that totally backs up our ideal. But look at the others. They start to chip away at it. What if truth is just what fits with what you already believe? Or what if it's just whatever works or is useful? Or, and this is the big one, what if truth is only what's true for me or for my group? Suddenly, that uncolored ideal looks pretty shaky. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some abstract philosophical debate. It's literally built into the wiring of our brains. Ever heard of confirmation bias? It's our brain's natural shortcut to seek out stuff that confirms what we already think and to totally ignore anything that might prove us wrong. It's a massive, powerful cognitive color that we all have. And this is exactly how we end up in our own little bubbles, our echo chambers. It's a simple 4-step process. You start with an opinion. Then you go looking for articles, videos, anything that agrees with you. If you see something that contradicts your opinion, you dismiss it, you ignore it, you say it's fake news. And what happens? Your original belief gets stronger and stronger, sealed off from any objective facts that might challenge it. So it kind of seems like objective truth is fighting a losing battle, right? But it's not. It has a way of fighting back. And nowhere is that clearer than in the world of science. Okay, let's take a trip back in time. For centuries, literally centuries, it was considered an absolute, undeniable fact that the Earth was the center of the universe. This wasn't just a scientific theory. It was a core part of theology, of institutional power. It was a colored truth, and a very powerful one at that. And then along comes Galileo. With his telescope, he could see things no one had seen before. He gathered empirical evidence, stuff you could see and measure, that proved the sun was at the center. This was an uncolored, observable fact, and it flew right in the face of the establishment. And yeah, they went after him for it, but in the end, the truth won out. And this isn't just some dusty old history. Think about this. Up until the 1980s, if you had a stomach ulcer, doctors would tell you it was because of stress and spicy food. That was the medical consensus, the accepted truth. But then, a discovery, one that later won a Nobel Prize, proved that most ulcers are actually caused by a tiny bacterium, A single evidence-based fact completely overturned decades of a flawed, colored medical belief. You see the pattern here, right? History is just full of these battles. Whether it's in astronomy, medicine, or even physics, you have these powerful dogmas and flawed beliefs that eventually they just get shattered by the relentless pursuit of uncolored empirical evidence. The facts eventually win. Okay, so this leaves us with a real puzzle. If truth is absolute, but our perspectives are all relative and biased, how are we supposed to deal with that? Well, it turns out the Indian philosophical tradition has this really unique and fascinating way of trying to bring those two ideas together. It all comes down to this ancient Sanskrit maxim: truth is one, the wise call it by many names. It's such a brilliant idea. It says, yes, there is a single ultimate reality, but, and this is the important part, there are many valid ways to understand it. It doesn't throw out the idea of a unifying truth, but it makes space for all of our different perspectives. And this isn't just a nice thought. It's something that has been woven right into the fabric of a nation. You can see it in Gandhi's idea of satyagraha, using truth force as a moral weapon against injustice. You can see it written right into the Indian constitution, which explicitly bans discrimination based on the colors of caste or religion. And it even shapes the country's unique take on secularism, which isn't about separating from religion, but about giving equal respect to all faiths. All right, let's pull all of these different threads together, because I want to talk about why this whole debate, which can feel really abstract, is actually a super practical and essential fight for every single one of us. So we've seen all the things that can distort our view of reality, right? We've got philosophical ideas that say truth is just an opinion. We've got our own built-in cognitive biases. We've got social prejudice and straight-up propaganda. The colors that try to block out the truth, they are absolutely everywhere. So what's the game plan? How do we fight back? Well, on a big picture philosophical level, it means committing to universal values like justice and fairness. In science, it means never stopping that relentless hunt for hard evidence. And on a personal level, for you and me, the path forward is all about cultivating critical thinking. It's about developing self-awareness to see our own biases and to resist being manipulated. The Indian national motto really says it all. Satyameva Jayate. Truth alone triumphs. But here's the thing. That triumph is never guaranteed. It's not passive. It doesn't just happen. It requires us to actively, consciously, and relentlessly fight for it. Because in the end, trying to find an uncolored truth in a world that is so full of color, it's a constant struggle. It's a battle we have to fight in our own minds, in our communities, in our societies. So the question I want to leave you with is this: how are you going to fight it?